Hello, I'm Simon Whistler, you're watching TopTenzNet, and in the video today we're looking at the top 10 ways to detect sociopaths. Number 10. Surface charm and glibness.
Some people seem to have more charm than others. Pronounced charm is a red flag which indicates sociopathy. Sociopaths do not feel the same love, empathy, and remorse that neurotypical people do. This isn't pop psychology. MRIs show that sociopaths process life differently. Since sociopaths become conscienceless due to a blend of childhood trauma and genetics, they realize fairly early on that they don't feel things as others do. They know they are different. In order to cloak their strangeness and in order to get what they want from others, they learn how to act in order to pass in society. As they mimic neurotypical people, they become adept at charming them. Their charm is centered on mirroring those that they meet. In other words, they gather facts about others and use those facts in order to appear to have the same interests and the same values as them. Also, sociopaths are known to have higher levels of testosterone, and an excess of this hormone tends to make them more sexually attractive to other people. The downside of this is that sociopaths are often hypersexual, which does not promote fidelity. Naturally, sociopaths don't feel guilty when they cheat. Glibness is also another dead giveaway. If you know someone who uses jokes, puns, and deflections in order to avoid serious discussions about real problems, beware. This is not unintentional, and it's a sign that the sociopath wants to move the conversation away from difficult issues. In particular, if you find that a partner, colleague, or friend avoids answering direct questions or hesitates before answering any types of questions, you should definitely be wary. A celebrity example. Ted Bundy's modus operandi was to win the sympathy of his intended victims by playing the victim himself. Sociopaths know that playing the victim is a very effective way to achieve their goals. Known for his traditionally masculine values, Bundy was very well spoken and able to trick women by appearing to be injured. He wore a fake cast, donned crutches, and then posed as a victim. He would approach women and ask them to help him move things over to his VW Bug. The infamous VW Bug was modified in order to assist him with rape and murder. He had removed the passenger seat with a mind to making it simpler to carry cargo. However, his victims usually didn't see the missing passenger seat until it was too late. With sociopaths, the evil lurks often just out of sight, so it's important to consider the fact that anyone whom you may meet may be conscienceless.
Number 9. Egoism and Grandiosity.
Sociopaths have swollen egos. Their lack of emotional depth and incapacity for love are characteristics which they often view as secret weapons in the wars they wage against those they want to manipulate and/or ruin. This edge that they feel they have over non-sociopaths, neurotypicals, feeds their sense of superiority. Therefore, the second primary indicator of sociopathy is egoism or grandiosity. Signs of an ego which has narcissistic features, sociopaths are also narcissistic, include bragging about their looks, vanity, bragging about possible encounters with celebrities or other VIPs, and bragging about sexual performance and/or exploits. In terms of spotting grandiosity, look for a sense of disdain for others. For example, a sociopath may make racist statements regularly. As well, he or she may relate to individuals or creatures which are notorious for doing significant damage to humanity or God, such as war criminals, gangsters, or the devil. Many sociopaths may also give you clues to who they really are, even if they frame it as a joke. For example, someone who calls himself evil or bad is actually bragging about what's inside. He or she wants this darkness recognized. Celebrity example: Hermann Goering. The late Nazi figurehead Hermann Goering is commonly perceived as a sociopath. For good reason. He had many features of this currently incurable personality disorder, including high sensation-seeking, egocentricity, and disdain for others. Like most sociopaths, he had nerves of steel. He was a World War I fighter pilot, an icy and spooky predator stare, as well as a penchant for compassion-free manipulation. Goering's perception of occupying a higher tier is evident in the following quote: "Voice or no voice, the people can always be brought to the bidding of the leaders. That is easy. All you have to do is tell them they are being attacked and denounce the peacemakers for lack of patriotism and exposing the country to danger. It works the same in any country."
Number 8. High sensation seeker.
If you want a little excitement, you'll find it with a sociopath. What you won't find is love, respect, and reciprocity. Sociopaths live in a state of constant boredom as their inner lives are practically non-existent. Since any emotions that they do experience, such as lust, anger, irritation, envy, and fleeting happiness, are usually quite weak, they flicker into their consciousness and then dissipate as quickly as they come. For this reason, they find that boredom is their biggest challenge in life. Anger is usually the most powerful emotion that a sociopath feels. He or she may even like to be angry, as it's better to feel something than to feel so little. If someone in your life seems to create drama and chaos on purpose at frequent intervals, he or she may be a sociopath who is trying to access sensation via arguments. Sensation seeking may happen in a variety of ways, from juggling multiple romantic relationships to reckless driving, speeding, drunk driving, etc., to drug abuse and alcoholism. The truth is that many sociopaths abuse drugs and booze on a regular basis. Sociopaths may also seek out deviant adventures in riskier locales such as the Third World. Since they find any fear that they do experience to be pleasurable, they enjoy putting themselves at risk. Without risk, they experience a sense of emptiness which is depressing and unpleasant. A celebrity example. Charles Manson turned to petty crimes for survival and in order to seek out the sensations that sociopaths crave. Like Bundy and Goering, Manson also had the intense stare that sociopaths utilize in order to gain power over others, and he used his predatory stare and charisma in order to turn his cult of weak-minded followers into brainwashed groupies.
Number 7. Frequent and compulsive lying.
We've all had to lie to some extent in order to function in society. However, most of us make a point of being honest, as it's a better way to live. Our consciences promote us to avoid lying when we can. Those who lie a lot, even when it's not strictly necessary, are far more likely to be sociopaths. In fact, most people who begin to suspect that people in their lives are more evil than anticipated, i.e. sociopaths, do so because they've uncovered lies, whether they are large or small. Once you get to know them a bit better, sociopaths often seem shady and dishonorable. Imagine your own capacity for wreaking havoc, were you able to lie to someone's face without a single moral qualm. Since they are unencumbered by guilt, sociopaths lie constantly to everyone in their lives. Everyone gets a different version of the sociopath, which is customized just for them. Everyone sees a different mask. One mask may be donned for a group, while another may be worn for a lover or ex-lover. It's all about reputation management and manipulation. A celebrity example. Charles Ponzi. Many sociopaths don't turn to violence in order to get their needs met. One example is alleged sociopath Charles Ponzi, whose life of lies was about tricking rich people into investing in sham corporations. The Ponzi scheme is a famous method of defrauding investors, and it was named in honor of this white-collar criminal. Ponzi faced the fate that most sociopaths dread most, after death itself. He languished in a prison cell for 14 years. However, it's safe to say that he enjoyed the lying and trickery immensely before his misdeeds came to light.
Number 6. No guilt or sense of responsibility.
Many people really struggle to wrap their heads around the idea that 1 in 25 people are sociopathic and do not feel guilt. Those with consciences find this difficult to comprehend. Likewise, the sociopath finds the inner emotional worlds of neurotypicals to be baffling. A sociopath cannot feel pain unless he or she makes a conscious effort to do so, and this doesn't happen too often. The guiltlessness is accompanied by a lack of shame and zero sense of responsibility, and it's one of the primary reasons why most sociopaths seem extremely immature. They seem frozen in adolescence, and they lack the emotional tools to learn from experience. They may claim to want to be able to do better in the future and be very believable when they do so. However, they just can't learn. Their impulsiveness and desire to win at the game of life always leads them to repeat the same mistakes. A sociopath will follow the same patterns in a way that is truly perplexing. Anyone else would learn from experience. Celebrity example. John Gacy seemed like a stand-up guy as he blended into his Des Plaines, Illinois community. However, he was really the stuff of nightmares. Utterly without guilt, Gacy serially killed 32 young males during the 1970s. When he wasn't busy murdering without a shred of remorse, he spent some of his time dressed as a clown, performing at the birthday parties of local children.
Number 5. Shallow emotions.
By now you're getting the general idea. These people look like you or I but aren't the same inside. They are not good people, and they're the reason why so many men and women are scarred from toxic relationships. Sociopaths do shocking things, and their horrible acts, from leading double lives to sabotaging others in the workplace, may be readily apparent or may not be discovered for years. While many sociopaths probably would like to feel what the rest of us feel, instead of knowing that they are on the outside looking in, most are quite happy to be sociopaths. For this reason, you shouldn't pity them. Celebrity example. Diane Downs tried to kill all of her own children and succeeded in killing one and paralyzing another. This former postal worker and current member of the prison population did it so that she could spend time with her new lover, who didn't particularly want to be around children. As impulsive and deceitful as any other sociopath, Diane Downs planned craftily, but missed things in her haste to complete her mission. She was convicted, and her own daughter testified against her.
Number 4. Empathy-free.
Empathy is feeling someone's pain. It's really simple for the empathetic to define. For example, when we heard about the horrible terrorist attack by terrorists on the Bataclan nightclub while the rock band Eagles of Death Metal were on stage, we empathetic beings banded together and felt the pain of the victims. Since sociopaths rarely put themselves into anyone's shoes, they don't experience this sense of humanity and oneness. It's basically missing. While recent studies have shown that sociopaths are able to turn empathy on and off, it's mostly in the off setting. Consider everyday con artists, who are all too happy to trick others into giving them things under false pretenses. They don't emotionally understand how other people feel due to them being empathy-free. Therefore, they are able to make false promises to others without feeling the pain of those that they deceive.
Number 3. Trivial sex life.
The idea of sex and sociopathy is an interesting one. If you are dating, one thing to watch out for is someone who stares at the opposite sex a lot while you're out and about. If a person seems to be on the prowl, even when with a partner, that is narcissistic behavior. Where there's smoke, there is typically fire. Sociopaths stare. It's called the predator stare, and it's about inappropriate eye contact. Sociopaths don't have deep emotions, so they use sex in order to kill boredom. This lack of depth, coupled with higher than average levels of testosterone, means that sociopaths are often hopelessly addicted to sex. Since these types typically want higher and higher levels of sensation, they may become sexual deviants. This means cheating, using prostitutes, sleeping with people who are under the age of consent, sex tourism, and so on. Most sociopaths are promiscuous. In fact, promiscuity is one of the factors that psychiatrists look for when diagnosing this condition.
Number 2. Conduct problems prior to age 15.
Sociopathy starts young. It manifests in one way or another before the age of 15. Teens may be diagnosed with conduct disorder. Others may have no formal diagnosis, but may have trouble following rules at school and home and show general disrespect for the truth, as well as parents, siblings, and authority figures. Quite often, but not always, a juvenile delinquent is a budding sociopath. Some young sociopaths hurt animals and don't understand why it's wrong until they are told. Others are violent with people. All will be rule breakers, and most will experiment with alcohol and drugs as well as sexual contact long before their non-sociopath peers. It's rare to find an adult sociopath who wasn't a problem teen in some respect.
Number 1. Sadism and mind games.
People with empathy don't usually enjoy hurting others. The sociopath does enjoy it. Even those who he or she legitimately enjoys spending time with will be subject to sadism and mind games. If you know someone who seems to enjoy hurting you, as a cat would toy with a mouse, and you find the mind games monotonous, it may be time to cut your losses with this person. A good person is going to protect you from pain, confusion, and frustration, rather than piling it on.
So I really hope you found that video interesting. If you did, please do click that like button below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Click on the screen now, or there is a link in the description below. Also, over there on the right are a couple of other videos you might enjoy if you enjoyed this one. One is the top 10 criminals who recorded their crimes, and below that we've got the top 10 disturbing biopics about serial killers. So be sure to check those out, be sure to thumbs up and subscribe, and thank you for watching.